how should we think about retirement planning when there's a significant age gap between the spouses or your significant other? But the first would be Social Security claiming. And there are a number of tools. We've talked about them in the past. There's Open Social Security. Bolden, formerly New Retirement, has a Social Security optimization. Prelana, which I just looked at in the last video, does as well. But there are different ways to model Social Security claiming. The older spouse, typically male, but that won't, of course, always be the case, was the higher earner. And so they had the higher Social Security benefits. And one could argue that it would be important to, if you can, for that person to wait until they're 70 to claim Social Security. It gives them the higher payout. And then once they pass away, assuming they pass away first, it would leave a larger benefit to the surviving spouse. The other thing I would consider is your withdrawal rate. But if you have a significantly younger spouse or significant other, what might be a safe withdrawal rate for that person could be very different than the safe withdrawal rate for the older spouse. Now, keep in mind that when they do calculations to see what kind of withdrawal rate it would be safe if we just wanted to have money to spend sort of in perpetuity. Let's imagine we were going to live to be 300 years old. At least based on the historical record in the United States, that safe withdrawal rate's about 3.5%, which is not that much lower than the traditional 4%. So there may not be as much of a gap in withdrawal rates between someone who's, say, 65 and their younger spouse who, let's say, is 50. The other thing to keep in mind is that when the older spouse, assuming they pass away first, a couple of important things happen financially. One is, of course, your expenses go down. But the second thing that's going to happen is the tax status is going to change. You're right, the surviving spouse is going to go from married, presumably married filing jointly, to single. And now, of course, that in and of itself could change if down the road they remarry. But until then, they're paying higher taxes. And it could also be the case that you need to consider these age differences if you have a pension and how you're going to take that pension and survivorship, where if you pass away, your significant other continues to receive some amount of benefits. If you're looking to purchase annuities, you'd want to factor that in as well. At the end of the day, what I would recommend is either hiring a professional to put together a retirement plan, or as I do, doing it on your own. And we've done plenty of videos about that. My favorite tool at the moment is Bolden. I do like Projection Lab. I do like Prelana, so there are other options. And you can create different scenarios where you pass away at different ages. And what is that going to look like for your surviving spouse? To me, at the end of the day, there's so many moving parts, including asset allocation, that that kind of tool would be very, very helpful.